My name is Mao Xiang. I'm from UBC Education Program. I have 3 questions here. Number 1, as you said, your parents, which is Aris' grandparents, experienced Nanking event. So I wonder, did she, Aris, listen to the story from her parents when she was a little girl? So I can imagine the picture, a young little girl sits beside the parents, listen to, their real story. Did that happen?
No, actually, Iris listened to talk because my parents live in New York. I live in Champaign, Urbana, and my parents are very old and sick. So yeah, but we visited them quite often during the summer. So yes, I think they mentioned yeah. But we also, I think most is from our stories. Yeah.
Good. And also another question is, as you mentioned, when the book, The Rape of Nanking, was translated to Japanese, there are some challenges from the Japanese
publisher. Yeah.
So I wonder, finally, was that book fully translated, or some contents have been deleted, some pictures have been deleted?
No, that's the prerequisite. We the precondition. So finally, 2007. The book was word by word translated without changing. Oh yeah, not by the original. No, this different publisher. Yeah.
And how was the sales?
No, I don't think it's very good because because at the time, 10 years later, and actually in general, Japan is not very interested in this part of history somehow. Yeah.
In the public.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the sale is not good. I heard of this. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Last question is, I wonder, are there any efforts, or were there any efforts to, to tell the education authority in states, either local level or state level or federal level, to put this content, the Rape of Nanking, in the curriculum, the education curriculum, or if there are some efforts, how much it is there? I don't want to see just 1 line or 2 sentences about that. I think a paragraph or something really, really good to let the student to learn.
That's what we are doing actually in California. There's a lot of, there's several grassroots organizations, just like Canadian Alpha in Bay Area, and then we also like RNRC, GA, Global Alliance for Preserving the History of World War II in Asia. They made a tremendous effort to push to put this history in textbook, but even to the state level. But unfortunately, the California governor, Oral Shorts, I only remember his Terminator, right? Anyway, she vetoed. So now there's a Democratic Party now, Governor Nelson Brown, right? So now they are going, I heard in the meeting, they are going to push again. So it's very difficult. So that's why I think particularly us thinking the best is ourselves doing on the educational level. The way just push to give the supplemental material, as extra curriculum to help the student understand this part of history. But of course, we're going to do the same thing parallelly. But it is at the time, yes, I answer the question. We did. We try to put, to push the legislature to put this part of the history into the textbook in the U.S. But California is the major state, the state of having most Asian population, but we haven't passed yet. So I think Canada is much better than U.S. in this sense. Yeah.
Pass assembly, not.
Pass it.
Yeah, so actually, we Canadians, especially we British Columbians, should be very proud because our Ministry of Education has already included this chapter of history into our curriculum, and they even published a teacher's guide on this chapter of history back in year 2001, and the French version was published in year 2003. And then we should be very proud because actually the Ministry of Education only published 3 resource guides on social studies subjects. One is, the first one is about the First Nations Nisquest Treaty, the second one is about the European Holocaust, and then the third one is about this human rights in the Asia Pacific. And then, in the US, I would also like to report to you that there are also some positive happenings, like the New Jersey Holocaust Education Commission. They understand that this is a very important chapter of history. So in year 2006, they sent teachers to come with us to the Peace and Reconciliation study tour for educators that organized by us, by BC Alpha, and then to visit the historical sites, the survivors, and then after they came back, they developed a resource guide similar to ours and even thicker than ours because they incorporate more current materials there because don't forget about it, ours was published in 2001. After that, there are some other things happen, so they also include some very current news clippings and other things into their resource guide. And the New Jersey Holocaust Education Commission helped publicize this to all schools in New Jersey. And those educators, who did the study tour, they go to many different schools to help the teachers to use that resource guide. And then also in the US, they also follow our footsteps, and then they also organize their Peace and Reconciliation study tour since year 2007. Ours started in year 2004. And so far, I think we have over 150 teachers in BC, not in BC, in the whole Canada, participated in the study tour. And then we would like to do it, continuously if resources are available.
What year is the social studies? What
in
year
here?
is it taught?
Year of what year? Okay, in BC, it's a grade 11 and 12. But then in Ontario, it's a grade 10. They incorporate the Rape of Nanking as a mandatory curriculum in their grade 10 in Ontario. But then in BC, it's grade 11 and 12. And then our resource guide is good for social studies 11, history 12, social justice 12, and law 12.
Also, I want to add, I'm an elementary teacher, and I have a colleague here, Tina, who's an elementary teacher, and there's been 2 novels written for elementary kids, and I'm incorporating that in my library and doing a unit on Holocaust genocide. So there's opportunities if you take the book, show it to librarians, ask them if they, can pass this on to their teachers. We are working to get this through, and as Thecla said, there is the study tour as well. And my organization, Peace and Global Educators, we have a yearly conference in fall, all the teachers do, and if you, being an education student, wanted to attend, Thecla is giving a workshop there on all the materials available as well.
Great. Finally, I just want to say thank you very much, Dr. Chang and your husband, for this speech, and Aries is a great lady and you have a great daughter.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I actually attended the symposium on International Human Rights Day at Vancouver Secondary, and I learned there that they don't have education systems in Japan teaching the kids there about the Rape of Nanking and what actually happened. So can you tell me a little bit more if they actually do have stuff now that tells the high school students and younger kids there about this chapter of history?
You mean
in Japan?
You mean in Japan? I would say, there are definitely, some Japanese teachers, they are teaching this chapter of history in their classes. But the unfortunate thing is, like the Minister of Education in Japan, they are trying to cut down the content of this chapter of history in the textbooks. They have 7 publishers publish high school education or history textbooks, and then some research found that recently whenever they have a new edition of those textbooks, then the whitewashing of this chapter of history become more serious. So that is not really a good sign. But still, there are Japanese teachers that we have in contact with that they still do their own research, and then they still teach their students about this chapter of history because, again, they believe only with the understanding of what happened, then that will be the basis for true reconciliation and peace. Yeah, and by the way, this student mentioned about the VanTech International Student Human Rights Day Student Symposium because since year 2009, our organization organized this International Human Rights Day Student Symposium, and the theme is Human Rights in the Asia Pacific 1931 to 1945, and supported by the Vancouver School Board. So thank you very much to trustees. And then it already become an annual event, and starting from last year, first year we organized in the Vancouver School Board Education Center, and then starting from last year we organized it in the VanTech Secondary, and then the principal would like to accommodate us as an annual event. So this year we will again be organized it. If you know teachers, encourage them to register and bring the students to participate in this educational events. And the workshops are all organized by and presented by the teachers. And so that's a very good opportunity for teachers to come to bring your students for a one-day program to learn about this chapter of history. Shall we use this opportunity to ask Dr. Ying Ying Chang to say a few words? I mean, probably you want to see how he looks, how handsome he is.
I have to say, my husband is the biggest supporter of my work.
Well, thanks very much for me to have the opportunity, and I'm very impressed by the active and the excitement generated over here. Yeah, I haven't seen this in other places. Thank you.
And it's located in Australia. And have you ever thought about public this book as globally? Like in England, they teach the Rape of Nanking in the grade 11 curriculum. In Australia, they teach it in grade 9. So have you ever thought about doing it as a resource book, using this book and publicizing it?
You will go to the Australia or?
Actually, I'm very proud to tell you that we did have some Australian teachers follow our study tour and and they studied, and then they went back and then they helped promote the awareness of this chapter of history in Australia. Yeah, so of course, I think if we can have this as one of the resource materials in Australia or in elsewhere, that would be great. And I hope if any of you know of other places that they would like to invite the two Dr. Chang to have a book tour, that would be great, isn't it?
Yeah, no one in England or Australia invited me yet. Yeah, but I of course, if I can, if my energy can, I will.
I'm pretty sure they will soon.
Thank you very much for your presentation today. Please accept my condolences on the untimely death of your daughter. My question is to Tekla, and it's a follow-up from the student that asked about the education of Japanese students and what they understand about the issues that we're discussing today. When I went on the tour with you, with VCALA, we met an author, and the author was working with Japanese, Chinese, and Korean authors to write a textbook for a common language for students in those countries, and they had summer institutes that brought together students from all three countries. Can you tell me about if there's any follow-up from that, if it's still continuing?
Yes, that's really still continuing. Pat, as a teacher in Vancouver, and then as a teacher librarian, that's why she's so concerned about all this folks thing. And then when we were in visiting China, a Chinese scholar mentioned to us about this joint history textbooks, because the scholars from the three countries really believe a common understanding of this chapter of history is very important. So that they came together and then they already published, a joint history textbooks. The content is the same, but in different languages, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. And then, but these are not textbooks, they're reference books. And then actually the sales in the three countries are quite good according, to their report. And then they have already even came together again and have a second edition published. Yeah, and then also to follow up on this, these scholars, they also invite students from the 3 countries every year during summer to come together to learn about this chapter of history. And then they told us that at first when they came together, there are some tensions because of the different understanding of this chapter of history. But after the dialogues and the living together for 2 weeks, they just don't want to separate. They want to, go on and then continue with all these dialogues and good friendships that they earn. So that's why we really believe if we can have a common understanding, if we can dialogue together, and then if we can put down all our preconceptions and then come together and learn about the facts, the truth of this chapter of history, then true reconciliation and peace, will happen.
The German Parliament officially apologized to the Jews for the Holocaust.
Yes, not only that, and also in German, deniers are outlawed. And then Mr. William Brandt, the Chancellor, even kneeled down, to apologize to the Holocaust victims.
Yes. How do the Chinese efforts compare with the Jewish efforts in this thing? For example, is Beijing supportive of your efforts?
Okay. Now, I must emphasize that ALPHA is a grassroots organization. We have our own mandate, and then we will pursue our mandate disregard of any government position. Because government positions can be different from time to time, and because they have different political and socio-economical considerations. So we are not following any instructions or position of any government. But we believe, as a grassroots organization, we have our mandate, and then if we believe, as Iris believe, that historical truth and justice and peace is important, then we should just pursue it.
What can you learn from the Jews?
I think you asked a very good question. What just me and what can we all here can learn, not just from the Jews, but I think I believe to preserve historical truth is very important, and then we have to be very persistent, and we shouldn't feel discouraged. Even just now, we've also mentioned maybe the situation in Japan is not as optimistic as we want, but we should always have this hope and then work hard, and then as Iris said, don't give up your ideals, and then when you believe in this ideal, you just work hard and pursue it. Yeah.
Thank you. That was a great ending, Angela, and thank you to the ALPHA organization for organizing this. Thank you, Dr. Ying Ying Chang and Dr. Xiao Jin, for keeping Iris's memory and the Rape of Nanking alive.